'Tis the time of the year where FutureCanoe reminds you that even though things are fine at the moment, you never know when life is gonna kick you in the crotch, give you a wedgie, and spit on your face. That's why it's important to keep struggle meal recipes around. For the past year, I've been receiving recipes from a lot of you guys. Our community is super diverse, so today's categories will be based on continents. We're going around the world to learn about the most down-to-earth part of our cultures. First, we gotta start with an American classic, and no, it's not the apple pie. After piercing the bottom with the lickman fork, I'll show you the filling of this pie now. What is this, you ask? Exactly what you think it is. The source of life, agua. This is a recipe from the Great Depression era called the water pie. And I'm gonna show you another pie recipe at the end of the video from this same time period that's even crazier than this. On top of the water, we'll put in 4 tablespoons of flour. Apparently, we're not supposed to whisk it or anything, we just gotta sprinkle it on top. Same for the sugar, a whole cup sprinkled. I guess maybe heating it up later is gonna evenly mix it. Everything kinda just clumps up and falls to the bottom. I'm starting to question this method. We'll flavor it with a splash of dessert MSG and top it off with 6 tablespoons of butter. Again, sprinkled on top. Into the oven at 400 for 30 minutes first. It's not looking really good, let me just say that. We'll reduce the oven to 375, covered with foil, and bake for an additional 30. Maybe should have oiled it up first. But after doing some surgery, we'll release the pie and set it in the fridge to cool for at least 2 hours. To my surprise, the pie actually completely solidified. Butter, flour, and water. I guess we're just eating sweetened up roux at this point. This is looking very unappetizing. I don't really want to eat it, so we gotta do something to improve the appearance. I feel like putting fruits or whipped cream on top will be changing the nature of this struggle meal, so I'm just gonna do some sugar and a brulee finish. Looking much better, like a creme brulee but off colored. I would cut it from the middle, but it's already a water pie, so I don't need to destroy it any further. What do you guys think? Doesn't this look so legit? I feel like if you tell me this is like a pumpkin pie, I'll believe it. So let's give it a taste and rate it 1 through 10. Flavor wise, it's pretty much just vanilla, and the store-bought crust is not that nice. But this exceeds my expectations so much that as a struggle meal, I'm gonna have to give it a 9.1. If this YouTube thing doesn't work out, I'll become a waterbender. So the sequence of the recipes will be based on my YouTube analytics, and it seems people from these 4 countries make up most of my subscriber base, hence these are my favorite countries. Our next video coming up is going to be a family recipe around the world, and we're improving our recipe submission method this time. If you want to contribute with your family recipe, fill out this Google form, I'll link in the description. I'll save your responses and go from there. Moving on to Europe, our first recipe is from Germany called the Toast Hawaii. This is sent from B, and nothing about it seems German so far. So we got 2 pieces of toast, and then we gotta layer them up with ham. Did you notice that I cut the circles in half to cover the corners like a caring mother? Next, intuitively, we gotta put pineapple on top. I can't find the slices, so we're gonna have to go with crushed. Finally, topping it off with a slice of American cheese. I didn't know they sell those in Germany. Oven at 350 for 5 minutes. After the cheese melts though, B told us to garnish it with a cocktail cherry. We're making struggle meals, we're not insane, so I'm just gonna garnish the toast with another piece of toast, turn it into a sandwich, cut it diagonally like a pro, have our cross-section inspection, give it a taste, and rate 1 through 10. I think this bite was starting to be a plane ticket to Germany, but somehow it emergency landed in the eastern part of Washington state. It tastes like a bad Hawaiian pizza. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Do German people actually eat this? Let me know in the comments. Moving a little bit southward, arriving at the land of social security. This recipe is a Swiss classic from JJ. Not the JJ in the thick of it, but the JJ in the Swiss of it. After 2 slices of prosciutto, we'll layer on top my never-ending raclette. The Vermont block is running out. Our next trip is gonna be to Minnesota, and we'll just broil till the cheese melts. Again, we gotta turn it into a sandwich. That's how we pay respect to Wonder Bread, and then bite down the middle just to disrespect it. This is just a great sandwich. The Swiss quality of life is so high that their struggle meal is pretty much my luxury breakfast. I'll just skip rating it because it doesn't really count. From the screen to the ring to the pen to the... Connor from the UK suggested us a toast sandwich, but not just a toasted sandwich. It's a sandwich with a piece of toast in the middle. So while the toasts are toasting, the toaster will soak the other toast with butter to go into the other toast. Season it on top with your sister sauce, put it in the middle. You probably need more butter and seasoning than this. Honestly, if I don't look at the crust, I wouldn't know the middle is just a piece of bread. It is moments like this I get reminded how good butter is. The inside is so moist and flavorful, it's almost juicy. This is a 9 out of 10. I guess British cuisine is taking the lead in the struggle meal category. Beans on toast is already struggle enough on its own, but yeah, saluji over here is giving us a variation I want to try. To the beans, we're gonna add a teaspoon of curry powder. We went through the whole colonial period just for this step to happen. This is starting to look like that bayashi spiderweb soybean thing. And Connor here asked me to use raclette, but if they'd be using American cheese in Germany, it's going on top of the beans. We'll put it in the oven to melt it. The curry powder is making it look a little yellowish. The curry flavor works really well with the sweetness of the baked beans. The cheese I can do without, but still I'm very impressed. I've been eating baked beans for so long, never thought putting curry into it. Another high score, 8.5. British people knows what's up. Browsing the internet just got a massive upgrade with Opera One R2, a complete productivity powerhouse. First, the player feature has support for 7 streaming platforms like Spotify and YouTube Music. You can control your music or videos from the sidebar without switching tabs. The video pop-out lets you keep your content floating even outside the browser window. Altering themes, whether you're into a sleek professional look or something more dynamic like Aura or Midsommar, Opera lets you customize every detail, from animated backgrounds to sound effects. For productivity, the split screen mode lets you work on 2 tabs side by side in the same window. This is probably my favorite feature. To keep things organized, the tab islands lets you group and organize tabs based on context, like shopping versus work. You can also easily track your recently used tabs with a subtle visual trace, this underscore over here. Without adding extra tabs, you can also ask any question with the area command line. Finally, the integration of AI images is one of a kind. It can not only generate any image for you from scratch, but also recognize and interpret any image you upload. Opera One R2 isn't just functional, it's intuitive. Ready to elevate your browsing? Check out the link in the description and try it out for yourself. So Hex/Kai calls this the Polish applesauce pasta. I was afraid that it's gonna be what I think it is, and it is. We're cooking the apple slices in butter, sugar, cinnamon, a round of sugar, so maple syrup again. We'll simmer that on medium-low till it's slightly caramelized, and very unapologetically we'll add in the macaroni. I would be a little grossed out if it weren't for what I'm about to do at the end of the video, so I'll keep an open mind and give it a taste. It's like an apple crumble, but instead of brown sugar oatmeal on top, it's slimy macaroni. It's not that bad. It's like biting into an apple, but there's a bunch of worms in it. I'll still eat it though. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Since we're already in Poland, we're doing another recipe in the general Slavic area. It's the strawberry pasta. What's up with Slavic people putting fruits into pasta? So to whole strawberries, we'll add in sugar and some heavy cream. I don't have cream here, I'm using milk. Mash it up into sauce consistency, and then very unapologetically again add in the pasta. I see what they're doing here. They're trying to pretend it's bolognese. I mean, tomato is a fruit. This Finnish recipe is from Temu. Great. A struggle meal from Temu. Didn't know it can get like that. Temu told us to cook the beef and onions until it's nice and gray. And I realized my ground beef is already nice and gray. Which shade of the 50 is this? So we'll saute the onions and beef till it's even more nice and gray. Season with bouillon and just a little bit of ketchup. We'll add in the macaroni, finally feeling like a real pasta dish. Let's just give it a taste straight out of the pan. It tastes pretty good. Apparently this is a well-known dish in Finland called the nisti pasta. Lacking a bit of creativity, it's like a picky American kids meal. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Using the same beef mixture, we'll put it on a piece of toast. I was only gonna do one German recipe, but this guy is hella persistent, so we're gonna give his German lasagna a try. After a layer of meat, we'll put some sauce, which is ketchup, topped with another layer of toast and cheese. Okay, I have to say, this is the best looking sandwich we've made today so far. And I see what Felix meant about lasagna, because there's layers of different stuff. The cooking process is a little complicated, but other than that, this is totally a German sloppy joe. 8.7 out of 10. All the way from Spain, Ma Rilgmez calls it the arroz a la cubana. I took Spanish for half a semester in high school, but I think that means Cuban rice. To start, we'll crack 1 egg into the pan and also sear half a banana. Okay, don't judge me because all of you will be doing the same thing. The intrusive thought is too strong, so I'm just gonna do it. feels much better. We'll just let this sear up. When the eggs are cooked through, we'll plate it up like a true artist. Oof, that looks like it hurt. Now, to finish arroz a la cubana, we're gonna top it off with some rice, and optionally, we're gonna go above and beyond and season it with some tomato sauce. Looks like a healthy, balanced, flavorful breakfast to me, but haters gonna say I have middle school humor. We gotta get everything onto this rice scoop and take a very well-rounded bite. I like the combination of eggs and tomatoes and rice, but the banana in there is bringing in some tropical dessert flavor that doesn't really work with the egg. This dish looks the best so far, but I'm gonna have to give it a 5 out of 10. Diana from Ireland sent us the recipe she calls crew beans, which is funny because I'm such a cool beans. I was a little concerned that she straight up asked for pig feet. I'm not really into the pig ones. What's more concerning is that my local grocery store had them readily available. Starting to second guess the type of community I'm a part of. So according to Diana, we gotta boil the feet with no salt. So I guess we're going all out. Really gotta soak up those toes. We'll let this boil for a long time, like 2 hours, to aromatize my apartment. Later when it's cooled, we'll just pull the meat and collagen off the bones. This step is more complicated than I thought. An intimate session of holding hands with a pig, which is the terminology my ex-girlfriend uses when she talks about me to her friends. Pieces are a little too big, so I'm gonna chop it up and season it with a lot of salt and pepper, garlic powder, and the remainder of my cheddar cheese. We'll have the mixture overnight to settle. After a whole night in the fridge, all the collagen in the feet firmed up, just like how microneedling firmed up my sister's face. We'll cut it into long strips. The goal here is to trick my roommate to eating them thinking they're mozzarella sticks, following with a standard breading procedure of flour, egg, and panko. Whoa. Something tells me here that this is not an authentic Irish version of a crew bean. All this work spent on feet, now all I have is fried bits of jelly. It's actually not that bad. It tastes like a more tender version of a salami. It's better though. It's fatty, salty, the crispy bits contrast with the soft texture of the feet. I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. I'm totally digging this. I wonder how good the real thing tastes like. Our next recipe is from Jens. She's an American college student sharing a dorm room meal. All dorm room meals qualify for this episode because all college students struggle. I'm making this recipe because I feel bad for her because she went to a college that's not worth going to. And since she mentioned it, I guess we'll call this recipe the hotel-y breakfast. To some oats, we'll crack in an egg, pour in some water, mix that into it, throw in some spinach in the end. Spinach is my favorite vegetable because I can't really taste it. I'm gonna microwave this for about a minute or so. Another great part about spinach is how relatable it is. After it's finished, it shrinks into almost disappearance. I really hate oatmeal because it's horse food, but let's give it a taste and rate 1 through 10. The egg in there helps a lot. It makes it taste less sad and kind of creamy too. With the vegetable and the whole grain oats, this is really balanced. Jens is pretty smart. I'll give this a high score of 4 out of 10. Our friend Zipper calls it the Canadian poutine, which is great. I feel like I haven't had KFC since high school. So we basically just layer in fries, gravy, and cheese on top. I got the chicken tender combo, so I'm gonna cut a few pieces of the tenders into it too. Gravy and American cheese, I'm gonna put it in the oven for about 5 minutes. My first bite of poutine in my life. It's amazing. I love it. I feel like generally Americans like to shit on Canadians for absolutely no reason just because they think they're cool or something. Only the lamest losers in America will talk negatively about Canada. Like this dish over here. It tastes great. It's KFC ingredients, American franchise topped with American cheese because Canada don't have shit. We're entering the Asia category, so be prepared to see a lot of rice. Our boy Chain recommended us a traditional struggle meal of lard over rice. I think it would be better with bacon grease, but I don't have anything right now, so I'm just gonna use my never-ending duck fat. I heated some up just to, kill off the potential bacteria. Hey, this is like a fried rice. We'll mix the fat into it, just simply season with soy sauce. I was kind of joking when I said fried rice earlier, but it tastes exactly like that. It has a very balanced mouthfeel. You probably need a good quality soy sauce though, because it's the only flavor there. 7 out of 10. Our next recipe is from my P.O. box, along with some gifts. When you send me gifts, you get special treatment. This is called a tamago kage chain. It's very simple. It's just cracking one egg into rice and whip it like there's no tomorrow together. I would beat it on the couch, but I'm kinda tired. When the egg gets really fluffy and coats the rice, we'll put it in the ramekin. Sprinkle a layer of furikake. This is like a seaweed creme brulee over here. It kind of tastes like heavy cream or mayonnaise over rice. And I forgot to season it, so I can totally see this going sweet or savory both ways. I'm gonna put some soy sauce in it, probably gonna make it better. Anyways, Jennifer sent me a bunch of snacks, so we're gonna make her recipe. Basically, we just want to boil a bunch of rice till it's nice and creamy. And after about 20 minutes, we'll crumble an entire piece of soft tofu into the rice. You know what this reminds me of?
Baking tofu, like how Auntie Helen baked Uncle Roger had.
If it's too dry, add some water and simmer for additional 10 minutes. Finally, season with salt, MSG, or a big tablespoon of chili oil. This is looking like what I don't really want to say here, but let's give it a taste and rate 1 through 10. It tastes like the second half of working through a tofu soup. Could use more seasoning, so I'm gonna give its potential an 8 out of 10. Moving on to one of my favorite countries, we're doing a sweet version of roti. The problem is I can't find roti, and I don't really want to get Nutella right now, because when I get it, I have to finish the jar within 2 days. We're gonna improvise and make a caramel sugar naan. So we start with a bunch of sugar in the pan and char it. Put a piece of naan into it to coat it all over, and then finally drizzle the caramel on top. Didn't get the sugar temperature right, but I think a non-tanghulu would be pretty cool. I do enjoy in life and dessert the occasional bitterness, but this is completely charred. Totally my fault. I will take Srinidi's word and give roti and Nutella a 9 out of 10. Also, I've been wondering what's this scent I've been sniffing, and I realized I put plastic plate on burning hot stove. I guess the old FutureCanoe is coming back for the rest of the episode. Another Taiwan recipe, another block of rice, cause some stereotypes just write themselves. This recipe is from Denise Go. I don't know if she's Taiwanese, but she's specifying meat floss, and I think that's a Taiwanese product, so we're just gonna group this to Taiwanese. While the rice is boiling to a porridge, we'll cut a bunch of sweet potato and just drop it in. We'll boil them together for 20 minutes or so, adding water when necessary. The rice is gonna break down, become creamy, and the sugar from the sweet potato is gonna get released into the rice. Eventually, it's gonna look like pumpkin pie in reverse. And here comes the real reason why I'm picking this recipe. The last time we bought a whole box of meat floss for one Taiwanese recipe, and I literally don't know how to use this up. So finally, we're gonna put a lot into it. Let's put a little bit of furikake too. This is the South Asian equivalent of an oatmeal with beef jerky. I didn't expect how good the macros are. Meat floss is basically protein powder. Okay, the seaweed in the furikake is ruining this so much because it's steaming it and the fishy flavor comes out. It messes with the meat floss and the sweetness from the potatoes. But other than that, it's sweet, salty, creamy, comforting, all the good stuff. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Jack McCurdy sent us a recipe from the Down Under. Obviously, we gotta whip out the Vegemite. I don't think I've ever said this out loud, but I'm such a big fan of Vegemite. It's the best condiment. It tastes straight up like foie gras torchon and under $5. How can people be obsessed with miso paste, gochujang, all these fermented sauce and like sleep on Vegemite, you know? It has all the flavor you need and it can go on any type of carbohydrates. Anyways, we'll put a slice of cheese on top and just toast it. It kind of tastes similar to American cheese. Since the rating of this one is very dependent on my opinion on Vegemite, I'm not gonna rate it. This next one from Janet is an Australian sushi. It's basically instead of a piece of fish, is a piece of avocado on top. I mean, I guess I already pay extra for avocado when I get my poke bowls. This would just be without fish. We season it just like salmon, some soy sauce, or wasabi if you want. I cannot believe my own tongue right now, even though it always lets me and other people down. I really think I'm eating salmon, but not just any salmon, the best salmon I've ever had. I guess when something's full of unsaturated fat, you can't really tell the difference. I can't believe how good this is. Why have you guys been hiding this from me? I'll give this a 9.5 out of 10. I cannot believe this. How did I go through my life? Another depressingly great recipe from the Great Depression era. This is an official Ritz recipe. It used to be written on the back of the Ritz box, and the company claims that this is what it's gonna look like at the end. I highly doubt that. I've told you guys this before, apple pie is my favorite dessert. It's what made America great in the first place. And this is gonna be great. I haven't had Ritz since high school, and this time no bully is gonna take it away from me. For making the filling right now, the recipe requires exactly 30 crackers. If a whole sleeve is 30, that'll make my life so much easier and show great marketing strategy from the company. Unfortunately, a whole sleeve is 32. I guess I'll just eat it. When I became an adult, I realized that science is not for the enlargement of intellectual imagination, it's for getting people what they don't deserve. The chemistry over here is 2 cups of water, a cup of sugar, 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar, which is gonna bring out that apple tart flavor, and a teaspoon of cinnamon. Once that comes to a boil, we'll drop the whole crackers in, and then don't touch it. Boil for about 10 minutes. I'm gonna stir it a little bit because I'm getting a little concerned, but you don't have to do that. To complete the apple flavor profile, we're gonna squeeze in a little bit of lemon juice, and after preparing the pie crust, we'll pour the whole pot into it. Set that aside, we'll work on our crumble. Personally, I much prefer a closed pie, but I think crumble is the most popular. To a cup of crushed Ritz cracker, we'll add about half a cup of brown sugar and 1/4 cup of butter. Season with cinnamon. I guess the strategy here is not even to imitate the flavor and texture of apples, it's playing the flavor association of cinnamon. I guess the corporate chef at Ritz understand the absolute rule of cooking, that people are gullible, will evenly distribute the crumble on top, and from a distance it looks just like an apple pie. So let's close up the distance and it looks even more like an apple pie. Like these wet pieces of Ritz has the uncanny resemblance of cooked apples. The first round of baking is at 425 for 15, and then lower the heat to 375 for another 20. This is what it looks like after baking. We're stepping into the scary category, so I'm gonna let it sit in the fridge. We'll evaluate overnight. Stepping into that risky business over here. Again, holding back the urge to cut it from the middle because I'm actually curious to what this thing looks like. I have to say, this is some insane stuff. It's crazy to think that 100 years ago, somebody came up with this in a lab. We'll have to give it a serious taste and rate it 1 through 10.
No way. No way.
It's not even a mock apple pie anymore. It kind of tastes even better than apple pie. The texture is just so soft and tender, it receives my teeth very well, and the acidity is nice too. Take a look at the filling. Could you tell that was cracker? I didn't switch it out midway through cooking just for the video, by the way. You guys know I'm way too lazy to fake videos. Definitely a 9.8 out of 10.
Oh my god.
Anyways, thank you for those of you who shared recipes with us. I chose the concept of struggle meals around the world to demonstrate that across the globe we have the innate ability to make the best in the midst of a tough time. Not everyone's born with a silver spoon in their mouth, and not every chef cooks with wagyu and caviar. When you're holding a pack of instant noodle and have a monotone voice, you make the best of what you have. And I have faith in all of us that we can see the opportunities we've been given and persevere for a better tomorrow. I think that's what struggle meals are about. I think that's what this community is about. I cannot be more grateful for the 3 million of us. Alright, thank you.